hello, welcome to Adventures and Lollygagging and Friends. And after like 2 years, we're back to playing Aliens. So we're playing Aliens tonight, starting a brand new campaign. We started playing this I looked it up, guys. But we played our first session September 28th, 2020. And then went up on YouTube like the day later. It's been a minute, so we look a little different. We moved, some other folks are here, not here, etc. But this is our fourth chapter. We have like an ongoing universe. It's not an ongoing story. So if you haven't watched any of the other stuff, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. All of these different chapters are self-contained. But we're starting up a new one. We are taking advantage of the Building Better Worlds book, which is a supplement for Alien that focuses specifically on frontier colonists and exploration and all that kind of stuff. We're not doing the official campaign in there. We're just using some of the stuff in it. And then, we're going to go from there. Normally we'll have Adam rounding out the cast, and we hope to still maybe get him tonight if possible. But otherwise, what you see here is what we're going to get tonight. We're going to start a brand new campaign and go from there. Everyone here, I think, has played Alien. Mitra, you said it. You played one or two of the cinematics. Is that correct?
That's right.
And then everybody else here has participated in, all sorts of Alien. Chuck ran an Alien campaign. I've run an Alien campaign. And Jeremy just sits around and plays in all of them. So that's how it works.
Same here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, do we want to get started? Do we just want to get into it? Just want to dive right in?
Let's do it.
Quit with the banter and just get going. Okay. So I told them that we are literally starting day one. New campaign, who this? I was going to do that joke long, but I decided not to. Okay. So, pretty much the entirety of our frontier world that we're going to be setting our colony on was made using all of the random tables and stuff inside it. So, if they don't make sense, blame the tables, don't me. Not me. Okay. So, here we go. So we're going to open, all right? And we're panning through space. This frontier system of some kind, well away from the core worlds, of course. We see a binary star system, in fact. We see ample asteroid belts, a couple terrestrial planets, and a pair of these gigantic gas giants. And we continue slipping past, just sort of moving, and we slip to the dark side of one of these gas giants. We got these reds and pinks and oranges kind of swirling about below. And then just past that giant, we find its outer moon. We'll call it LLG 616b. Got various shades of desaturated blues and greens and whites and grays. And as we get even closer, we see that there is a very large ship in orbit. Specifically, it is a retrofitted Affiant-class colony ship, and it is freshly arrived. We can see drop shuttles that are ferrying colonists and equipment down to the surface, returning, doing it again, over and over. We start to zoom in even further on one of these shuttles. Well-worn hull, two massive rear thrusters that seem to be struggling a bit as it descends through the upper atmosphere of this moon, jostling the ship to and fro, up and down. Inside, we see a couple dozen colonists that are strapped in various seats, all with differing degrees of calm and panic on their faces. We see a very large ground transport vehicle and equipment anchored to the floor, but the very panels to which they are anchored are starting to bend and give under the pressure and strain. We can feel and we can hear reverberations on the walls as the walls almost begin to bow a bit. The shuttle seems to suddenly jerk violently sideways, and one of the securing straps wrenches free, and it sends a metallic box bearing the Seekson logo flying through the air as if it was shot out of a cannon. And it ricochets rapidly off walls, off floors, off the ceiling, smashing into passengers who are screaming. scrambling, some of them, to unbuckle where they sit. And then immediately regret doing so as another jolt sends the shuttle into a too steep decline and it pins that passenger to the ceiling. Emergency lights start to flood every compartment. And on the starboard side, we can see a hatch suddenly explodes, and this swirling storm front rushes inside the ship as it dips into these icy clouds. We shift, and from below, from the surface of the moon itself, we see the ship once more emerge from the bottom of the clouds of that storm front overhead, having torn through all that cloud cover. And as the shuttle continues to tumble and spin off into the distance, crashing who the hell knows where, we switch our point of view and we see the reflection of that shuttle's off-target descent in a pair of very heavy binoculars. Binoculars which are then brought down so that we can now see a face. And Jeremy, what face do we see? What do they look like? And what do they do or say while watching this happen?
Oh, shit. That looks like a hell ride. I hope they puckered up, clenched on them cheeks. I'm Skeeter. Inside of my suit, if you could see me, got me a big old bushy mustache, a whaling Utani hat I stole and I wear just out of spite, and a little bit of a pot belly. I like to say it's a keg instead of a six-pack. And, basically, all you need to know about Skeeter is that, with corporate funding, even a man in incarceration becomes a procurement specialist.
So somehow, Skeeter, you find yourself standing next to the corporate superior, the one that actually signed your registration for this mission, a man by the name of Arthur York. He is Seekson's head administrator on this colony. There is a tri-sponsorship. Seekson has put probably the most amount of money into it, but they're not the only people with interest here. And so he's a bald man with very dark skin, and he has a almost a bright green cybernetic eye that seems to just kind of twist and zoom a little bit on the crash. Doesn't need the binoculars like you have. You've met him. You've come to understand him a little bit during the planning stages of the mission, long before cryo, long before launch, and long before arrival. And you can see that he's kind of doing these calculations in his head here and there, and like he's twitching every now and then. And he turns to you, and he calls you the wrong name. And he says, that ship alone is worth over $1 million. The onboard rover, that's another half. We can't afford more losses. Skater, whatever your name is.
As long as it ain't fuckface, I don't care what you call me.
Okay.
What do you want me to get? You get a priority out there in front of me, I'll get it.
All right. I want you to put together a team. Our people only. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Our people. Grab a gun hand. Get a driver. Unless you can do that yourself.
Damn right.
Take one of them rovers we have over in the vehicle bay.
Mm-hmm.
Get someone who knows how to salvage.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're feeling generous, take a medic. There's probably some skilled labor on the shuttle, and they might be salvageable too. Then I want to get your ugly ass out there and take back anything that's valuable. You got me?
Oh, I do. Find good shit, bring it back. Take good people to get the good shit.
All right. So as we start to drift away, we notice that the two of you were standing on a balcony perch of one of the taller buildings of the colony itself, the colony of New Joy. We even see it stenciled here and there around this central command hub, basically. From there, we kind of start sweeping over. We can see the entirety of the colony itself. It's still in its nascent day even, as this is the first day that any humans other than a handful of advanced engineers came with the working Joes who set the colony up ahead of your arrival. But we can see as we're looking around like a bunch of very drab, blocky buildings. There is no aesthetic whatsoever. It does not look remotely attractive. It does not look comforting. Nothing like that. These are fairly common complaints of sloppy Joe colonies of this kind. We can see a few hundred folk are starting to bustle around, mostly human, but there are still a few working Joes that are lingering around, laboring. But folks are giving them very wide berths, and they're not really coming any closer. You can see the roofs of every building that we move around over as we see Skeeter start to travel, are covered in this kind of thin sheen of partially frozen dew. It's a very cold planet, extremely cold in some ways. Like today is actually a fairly warm day, and it's roughly like 35 degrees Fahrenheit or so. And as Skeeter kind of takes the exterior stair down, and he crosses this main walkway, we see a tractor operated by a walking Joe kind of pass behind him, flattening out the mud and the ice a bit. And we see that it's kind of carrying this flatbed filled with all sorts of supplies, Seeks and ICSC, GES, all these different logos of the three main sponsorship. We follow Skeeter for a bit from above, and we see him move up and into through a ramp and into what looks like an open garage, into one of these vehicle bays. And we can see there's all sorts of roughnecks and gearheads kind of working around on various big pieces of equipment, a couple of vehicles here and there. And we watch as Skeeter goes up to a very specific individual. So Chuck, who is it that he just walked up to? Who do we see? What do you look like? What are you doing when he arrives?
Yeah, so I'm Scooter. That's who he walks up to. He walks on up to Scooter. I'm there, I'm nowhere near as chunky as Skeeter is, and my beard ain't as full. Well, he only got that mustache now. It looked dumb as hell. Well, that's not the point, but I got this big-ass beard on me. I did lose a couple teeth up front, but I got them replaced with nice shiny ones, so that's good. But what you see me doing is, I don't know, trying to get my toolkit sorted out. I got some vehicle that maybe got banged up, and transportation I got to sort out. And just cursing and complaining about every goddamn thing here and there.
And so right next to him, as you walk up, Skeeter, you can see that the vehicle he's working on in here is this sort of retrofitted rover. There's kind of two ways that these appear, either as kind of covered transport with the intention of taking miners to and from potential mining sites, but also as flatbeds to deliver construction and whatnot. This is one of the latter. And we can see that Scooter's been working on. It's kind of covered up here near. We can see there's cold mud left and right. And as you guys start asking around, this is really the only viable vehicle. Like everything else is small, these small little all-terrain SUVs, just like maybe two-seaters and such. And you're supposed to take a crew, you're supposed to potentially bring back salvage. And so eventually you manage to get yourselves access to this. You start driving. Now, who takes the wheel? Who drives?
Hey, that's it. 1, 2, 3. Ah!
Rock, paper, scissors.
God,
oh my God. You guys are twins.
All right, let's go again. 1, 2. Yeah, you're going too. I give up. I'll drive. You sit in the back like a dumbass.
Okay. So
You're one dumbass can't appreciate a good mustache.
Well, I would appreciate a good mustache if it didn't look like a bobcat left it on your face.
You're just ugly because I'm the handsome brother.
Oh, I
Get
didn't
to
know
work
we were
now.
telling lies today.
I'm
All
going to
right.
supervise y'all.
You supervise the shit out of my ass crack while I get under this vehicle.
So
I try.
Scooter gets underneath, checks everything, gives it a last once over. That lasts a handful of minutes, and then climbs up into the cab. Cab fits about 3 people comfortably, and then you got the extended flatbed, and the two of you start backing it out. Come down the ramp. We see the heavy wheels just dip into this like cold mud. Just kind of digs in a bit, but the wheels are heavy duty enough with very thick treads that you're able to kind of back it away easily enough. Various folks try to cross in front of you. There's no real understanding of traffic laws yet. Everything is it's very much a frontier town. Everyone just arrived today, and you can tell people are still trying to figure out where everything is. We watch you all drive around a bit, and eventually you pull up next to what looks like the primary medical facility. And whichever one of you, do you both get out and go inside, or do you just do it, Skeeter, as you were kind of given the task?
Go on, I'll keep it running.
All right.
Okay. So we watch Skeeter hop out. We see you kind of head up into the facility. You nearly, right when you open the door and go inside, you're nearly bowled over by all these various medical staff, these technicians. All of them are like cursing at each other, pissed about like these working Joes who apparently made all sorts of mistakes. Everything's in the wrong place. Everything's backwards. Everything's upside down. Things aren't connected properly. Power hasn't been funneled over here correctly. And it's all basically forcing them to spend their first day on this moon redoing work that they should have had fixed and finished months ago. And then as we see you navigate around, we'll say you go up to another very specific individual. And Melissa, who is it that Skeeter walks up to? What do they look like? What are they doing when Skeeter approaches?
So Skeeter is going to come upon the medic, Michelle O'Gwyn. She is geared out like she knew she was going to be, like, once she figured out that there was going to be a lot of moving around of stuff, she is sort of like picture like 1980s aerobics instructor. Like she's got like sweatbands around the wrists, and she is just like all about like making sure that people are like lifting with their legs and not their back. And she's just got everything is moving along. She is high intensity.
So what do you say?
What are you doing? You're standing in my way. You're here.
You might say that,
here?
or you might say, I'm inviting you to an opportunity to go out into the great unknown, find amazing things, maybe even amazing people.
Well, that's
It's
exactly
going to
what
be
I'm here
hard
for.
work, but who works harder than you?
No one works
Damn
harder than me. But this here's a shit show. And then she's just gonna like fire off some like you this. And then real quick she kind of turns around and she just like kind of like takes the kind of sweatbands off and just kind of stuffs them in her pocket. And she's like, ready.
I had to listen to my brother bitch for like 10 minutes straight before I get him going. You're the best.
I mean, we came all the way out here to do shit, so I don't really want to spend my time organizing. That is not how that was supposed to be. But I've got skills that are better than put box A in square B. That's a waste.
Damn right you do. Let's get her done.
All right. And she's right behind.
So the two of you start leaving the facility or dodging more of these technicians or like carrying pod beds, autopod that were put together incorrectly, these auto med docks and such. And you can see they're kind of climbing over each other as one of them slams to the ground. That's extraordinarily expensive equipment. But when you look at it, Michelle, you realize, oh, that's ICSC stuff. We don't really care. And then you kind of keep going. You get out, walk down, get back into the truck, etc. The three of you can fit in the cab. Fine enough. And you start driving around a bit. And if it's not very long before you guys stop right in front of the security headquarters. Now, there's kind of, again, there's three different groups here. And as you guys approach, you can see that there is a not insignificant number of people both in and outside. Who goes inside? Who wants to go inside for this one?
You know, Michelle, you're a real people person. And
she's already jumped out. Who am I getting? You got to tell me who I'm going for, though. I'll go, but
what
am I getting?
I think Krish is the least likely to shoot me.
Okay.
So
go for it.
You head inside then, Michelle. I think that was the plan. You go inside, you get, and you can see immediately, not unlike your own facility, it's chaos. You can see marshals, security personnel, all of them are like in here moving about. There's more people in here than there probably ever will be at one time ever again. You can see that they're arguing over proper storage of like weaponry, rifles, handguns. They have some what looks like mining charges here that aren't supposed to be here. They're supposed to be at sort of the mining HQ, but yet they're here somehow. And people are arguing whether they should keep them or not keep them. You can see members of GES, SEEKS, and ICSC all arguing over like chain of command, jurisdictional precedent, duty rotation schedules, all these things that no one thought to actually figure out before getting on the ship, going into cryo, and driving all the way out to the frontier. And Michelle, you see the very name that Skeeter sent you to find. And what do we see, Maitre? What is Krish doing when we see her?
Krish is getting all up in the face of someone who probably reports to Arthur York, and he's just she's already like mentally giving up, but her mouth can't seem to stop talking, and she's like, it didn't even blow up in the orbit of the colony. It's not our jurisdiction. Why are you insisting that we have to go do something about it? It's not our problem. It's not there's so much paperwork that I have to do. If it's in our orbit, it didn't happen in our orbit. And
are you Krisha? Are you Krisha? And she just sort of walks into the conversation.
Yes.
Are you? I was sent here to find. Yeah, you're Krisha.
Yes.
Great. We have a job. Can you leave this? We've got to go do a thing.
That fucking ship, is it that fucking ship?
I'm not excited that she realizes she didn't really listen to exactly what it was. She was just super jazzed to go do a thing. Skeeter sent me.
Oh, okay, cool. Skeeter always has good stories and booze anyway. All right.
Well, great. Yeah. And she
turns and jabs a finger at this boy. She's like, you fucking tell your boss to come talk to me himself next time.
So you're like pointing into him right on like the GES logo. It's like not even one of yours, and he's just like looking down, but he's got like this like very chastened face on as you do so. Like he actually, okay, yes ma'am, whatever you say.
So Krish is she's all sharp angles, like sharp cheekbones and sharp jawline and short dark hair and really dark brown skin. She looks like super hot in that 80s action hero kind of way, except for a giant scar across her face, which mars it a little bit. But you know, some people say it's aesthetically placed by the makeup department. But
and as we kind of walk out, Michelle is kind of complaining about the state of the medical lab. Like, you think that's bad? And she's just like rattling off all of these things that were just like damaged and destroyed.
Agreeing wholeheartedly and like telling you that yes, the suits are fucking abysmal.
But we're gonna we're gonna go do a thing.
She swears pretty regularly.
So you see the two of you leave the facility. You hear her bitching and moaning the whole time. A lot of it has to do with the working jobs. A lot of it's just like, you know, cheap ass. Like, this is not what Seegson promised, or these working jobs. This is what happens when you send a toaster to do a human's job. Like stuff like that. You get like all sorts of awful things. You hear stories about like people already just like, can we just dismantle them now before you know it's just like we could use them for spare parts. Like all these types of things are popping out. But you eventually get outside. And we see the truck start moving again, and eventually it weaves around towards the main gate, basically. And you kind of take a moment, probably Scooter flags down like the on-duty personnel to open it. And as he goes to do so, Scooter, you can hear the sudden grinding and then something pop in the mechanisms for the gate itself. That guy comes back, he's like, it's going to be a minute. Hydraulics burst. Let me get a few strong folk and we can get open. Just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes.
God damn it! I'm gonna have to fix that later.
And then he's not wrong. It takes about 5 minutes or so, and then eventually he kind of groups up, gets a bunch of people together. Now the flatbed itself, the truck you're in, cab holds 3, back can hold like 20. Who sits in the front? Who's in the back?
Good thing I called dibs on driving. I got a warm seat right here.
Okay. All right.
Krish is in the back.
Okay.
Michelle is
Michelle's where?
in the back.
Okay. All right. So we got Michelle. Not that this is going to be important for any reason. Don't worry about it.
No, there's no reason why the seating arrangements need to be spelled out. No reason.
And so eventually you see like a good 7-8 people come out, each one of them grabbing one side of this gate, and they start pulling, and eventually you hear it just sounds like metal on metal as the gate pulls open, but you nonetheless drive forward, Scooter, and you push into the wild of the moon for the very first time. It's the first time any of you, because you guys have been here literally 6 hours, 7 hours. You're one of the first to land, but you haven't left the perimeter yet. This is your first time actually leaving. First time really anyone outside of the advanced team has actually left. So as you exit, you can see all around you. Terrain starts to unfold a bit, right? It's like this. It's all very subtle, like this tapestry of like various ecology and whatnot. You can see it almost looks kind of bleak at first glance. It's kind of the first blush of it if you're the uninitiated, the unobservant. But like you start to notice that despite the fact that it has this very like frigid look to it, it is teeming, if you look close enough, with life, with like this richness of it too. You can see these vast meandering lakes rivers that are snaking through here and there, branching out. You have built up the new colony, the colony of New Joy, on the hemisphere that is known for just its riverlands, basically. Now, a lot of them freeze in the deepest parts of winter, but right now is not the deepest part of winter, so there's still rushing cold water here and there, and you can see a lot of the banks are lush with, well, relatively unfamiliar looking vegetation, but it does seem to thrive in very cold and sort of temperate and damp environment. Like these deep blue aquamarine leaves, these stark and sturdy reds of like flowers and pink fruits and stuff that you've seen some people theorizing might be edible. The sky itself is fairly dark and gray, overcast. You are and this is one of the moon's light phases, so it's daylight basically for a significant period of time, but with the overcast, it kind of lowers down some of your visibility. You can watch as these like intermittent wind gusts are like nearly bending these thin, strange trees almost to like right angles, but they don't snap. So it seems like they've kind of evolved to be capable of doing so. You pass over some of these rivers because there's already bridges in place. These are put in place by some of the advanced teams and such. But every time you drive over one, Scooter, you can kind of feel this sort of unnerving sense as there's like a bit of a sag, but you get across nonetheless. But the further and further you all drive from New Joy, the more the air is sort of filled with like this crispness, right? Like it's probably the cleanest air any of you have ever breathed before in your lives. Like when you think about it, like this is a relatively untapped, untouched ecology, this moon. And you can also hear, now that you're away from the loudness of the colony itself, the sounds of like wildlife. You hear distant calls, bird calls, howls, rushing water, who knows what, right? All of it is like out here to discover. So before I try to kill you, what is everyone doing? Is anyone doing anything in particular? Like, are you guys on alert for anything? Is there anything you're specifically doing as you're trying to travel out in the direction of where this shuttle crashed?
Just enjoying the
two
view.
things. First, Scooter.
All right, yeah, just enjoying the view. Maybe got the window cracked a little bit, some of that fresh air. Better than the ship, because I mean, recycled farts can only get you so far when it comes to breathing air.
That is true.
I don't know, maybe that flexi bridge got me a little bit worried, so avoiding ditches. Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good plan.
Okay. What about you, Skeeter?
Now, look, I know we're out here to. Now, we're not here to save people. I'm not going to lie about it. We're here to save important equipment. But also, eventually, we're hopefully going to do some prospecting. While I'm seeing this landscape, what I want to do is see if I could spot something that looks good. It's the best rule of prospecting is to get dibs. That means getting there first. So I'm taking this chance to be the first one to observe where somebody
I'll
might
tell you
do
what.
some digging.
Let's do our first roll. Do you want to do observe? Is that
I
your goal
do.
here?
That's how you do
Absolutely.
prospecting, apparently.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
This is really just to get an idea of something.
Yeah, I know.
As opposed to yeah.
It's not time for the actual prospecting.
Yeah,
But,
we will dig into that a little bit though.
oh, look, I got a whopping one. As happens when I'm really good at something, I
You
will.
roll lots of dice.
You don't need to re-roll it. It's alien. You just need one success. That's it.
That's
all you
true.
Extra
All right, I got
successes
an
might
idea.
give you extra things, but yeah.
Somewhere over there, just past where the creek was, and where there was that creepy con noise. Damn, but still.
Hmm. Well, I mean, what you basically notice over in that direction is that you see like you're near kind of a coastal region. You know that the ocean's a little bit further off, but like a little bit kind of northwest of you. But you can see that as the further inland you go, the terrain gets rockier and rockier, but the rivers don't stop. And so you start to see that the rivers are kind of cutting their way through what looks like this, kind of rocky blue-gray mountain range that's not too far away. And you can see as the water's kind of coming down, there's like this rich siltiness to it that gives you this notion that maybe there's something up in that mountain there that's kind of feeding into the water stream a bit. Might be worth taking a closer look. It's certainly not one of the places that have already been marked off for like mining and for like mining gigs and missions and such. So it is something that we can kind of put a pin in. Okay. In the back, Michelle or Krish, are you doing anything of interest? Anything in particular?
So I don't think anything is going to come of this, but I just sort of want to show off something that my character has. And so one of the new things that medics can do is group psychology. And obviously this is just kind of player characters, but basically it's kind of like making an observation roll and then predicting like short-term attitudes or behaviors of a group of people. So again, like it's just us player characters, so like nothing's going to come of it. But that's basically what she's going to be doing is like she's by alternating, like kind of looking outside and like seeing the cool things because she's super jazzed to be here, but then also just sort of watching her compatriots in the vehicle and just kind of seeing like what they're paying attention to and how they're responding and just kind of like how it seems like this little group dynamic might work out. So I'm not necessarily expecting anything to come from that role, but that's what she's doing.
I mean, give it a roll. It's fine. We're here to roll some dice. Give us that observation roll. So if you're new to the building better worlds, there's a bunch of new talents and such in there. So that's fun times.
Similar to Jeremy, I got 1 success.
1 is all you need. Extra successes obviously can be, spent to get more stuff, but 1 is all you need. It's successful. I think you can tell that there is a dynamic between Scooter and Skeeter that can probably, on a spectrum, go from this is really good and useful to this is going to be a pain in our ass, right? Because they're siblings, and that's kind of how it works. So there are times in which that will absolutely reward the party, and there are times where that is going to absolutely screw over the group as their rivalry kicks up. Is that fair, guys? Is that fair?
100%.
Couldn't said it better.
If I had to call my rival and my buddy, I would love for them to be the same person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
If there were a mechanic where you would identify who your rival and who your buddy is, if that were a thing.
Okay.
That's delightful.
I pity him because he's so ugly.
Listen, once again, you're the one Mama hit with the ugly stick. I'm doing just fine. That's why you
Those
can't
have
grow
thick
that
skull,
patch
though.
on your chin right there.
That's why I got more brain cells left than you. Is that
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Krish, is there anything you're doing?
Nothing noteworthy. I think
Okay.
she's just finding out from Skitter like what this is and and as soon as like Arthur York's name gets mentioned, I think Michelle immediately picks up like how annoyed Krish gets, like he will not get off my ass. And she just like, I think that's what Michelle immediately picks up on, is like, I'll do this, but I'm gonna hate it the whole time.
So if I could get Scooter, who's the driver, to give me a piloting roll. If I could get and if I could get, say, Skeeter, give me like survival or comtech, whichever. Like you're in the car with them, so you're kind of navigating. We'll say you're navigator. Which one of those? Like survival is more just like natural lay of the land, kind of figuring out. Comtech might be you're using some device or whatever, some equipment to navigate. Either one of those is probably fine.
Ooh, I actually got me some equipment that helps me out with Comtech, so I'm going to do that.
All right.
All right, here we go. Yeah, you want to see somebody use some brain cells? Check this shit out.
Oh, I see you got as many successes as brain cells.
Shit, wait. This is it. Wait, maybe I know. I just have to flip it over to plug it in. No, I just.
That ain't right.
You about to hit a
Wow.
ditch, dumbass.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing just fine. I see that ditch, and if I hit it, it's because I meant to.
Damn, why? Red, green.
So while that's happening up front, Scooter, you are doing just fine. Like, there's not like defined roads. Really, you're just trying to navigate like this set of terrain in between bridges that you think is kind of leading you away, and you're trying to just vaguely head off in the direction. Like there is sort of a plume of smoke that you can occasionally see, but there are some like wind gusts and a storm front, so it's not the easiest. But you're vaguely trying to get off in that direction, and Skeeter is just messing around. Just
just being a dumbass. That's what he does.
Yeah, Skeeter, you look down and it's like maybe you left it outside just a little bit too long, and some of that dew that dripped down from one of the rooftops just kind of got into the equipment. It's just kind of on the fritz a little bit.
Shit, I should have brought some rice.
Krisha and Michelle, both of you or one of you can roll. Give me like a survival. Survival would be great, or an observation would be okay too, I guess.
Do you want to roll the shot?
Go for it. You haven't rolled yet.
Okay. So, Krisha, as you are in the back, you're kind of complaining to Michelle a bit about Arthur York and just how he's being. You're not wrong too. The guy is a pain in the ass. Like he is the head of Seegson while you're here. He is one of the kind of colony council. There's like 3 different people who serve on it. He is one. So he is one of the people in charge. He's one of the most powerful people. And you guys were in cryo most of the time, but you did get let out of cryo as you entered system, and you did spend time pre-mission having to be debriefed, and so you've had it up to here with him already, and it's only day 1. Nonetheless, Krisha, as you're talking, you look over Michelle's shoulder, and you see the strangest thing. Not too far away from you, you see this like rounded, kind of curved hill covered a bit with like little chunks of ice, is like blocks almost, blue-gray. And you realize like it sort of shakes, moves. And so that's what you see with 1 success. You have a second success, which means you can kind of ask a question. So, you know, in this game, when you get extra successes, you can ask another question. So we'll see that's what you see. So there's like, you can ask things like, is it coming for me? Are there more than one? How do I get, past? Or if there's just some other question you might have about it. But you see this thing kind of shaking and shimmering and, shifting and moving a bit.
Sorry, I just to kind of be clear on what I'm saying. This is just like a thing off in the distance, or it's under the earth and it's shaking?
30 yards away from you, off one side of the path that Scooter is trying to truck over with the vehicle. It's relatively close to you.
Okay. The question I have is, am I able to get a sense of like if it's active in any way, or if it just like exists in that space? Like, is it life?
I will say this: as you
like life, I guess
you do. I mean, it moves. I could say that. I would say you get the sense that it's potentially reacting to the tremors caused by the truck as it drives past. And you do see it kind of moving almost in reaction to it, as if it's kind of loosening up, like it's like detaching itself from the earth in some way.
So she kind of sits up. Hey, Scooter, stop! Look over there. Skeeter, you too. Michelle, you too. And points over. Like, hey, look. So Artie didn't say we had to be on the up there by like a certain time or anything, right?
What?
Huh?
I mean, can we just go check that out real quick?
Is it like moving or something?
And once Krish points it out, all of you can easily see it. It is a hill that's probably at its peak, maybe 10, 12 feet tall. And you can see that in it, it's like kind of this rocky blue-gray with some chunks of ice on top of it. And you can see it's sort of tremoring a bit, like it's like shaking. And then it kind of twists, and you can see that the sort of the base of the hill that connects to the flattened earth area around it kind of starts to detach, kind of pull away in some fashion. All of you can see this now.
Oh,
mean-
well, we're stopped. Maybe
Shit,
if we
why
stop,
not?
maybe it'll stop. Maybe it just feels us. And if we stop,
maybe.
it can't feel us anymore.
I thought Chris said we were going to go check it out.
Yeah, let's
Man,
go check
look,
it out.
All I know is that rich sumbitch, with the green eye, he wants us to go get shit that makes money. And I don't know. That looks like something that might get me killed and won't make me money. But we could go that way and be really fucking far away from the creepy moving landmass and also try to procure something worth money. Now, I'm only saying this to uphold my obligatory duties, not because I'm scared of that thing.
Yeah, no, consider your objection formally noted. Scooter, that way.
All right, let's ignore the chicken shit and go check out the giant walking hill.
Do you guys
Fucking
get out
dipshit.
and go, or do you drive over there?
I drive over there. Hell no.
Okay. You start driving up. You can see like the treads on your vehicle over the ice and the rock, etc. It kind of, you have to climb up slightly onto the bed, and then you continue to drive. And again, it's only like 30 yards away. When you get within just a handful of feet, you can see it shakes and shakes and it shakes, and you can see bits and pieces start to kind of fall down from it. And then as you're right up next to it, it starts to tremor and shake even more. And then you see effectively exploding up out of the ground this massive rock creature, and it just erupts. You can see bits of stone and ice just begin to cascade in all directions. These huge like these huge legs, these front legs, unfold as if they are kind of flattened underneath. And as it slams down in front of you, all of you feel the earth literally tremor and the truck actually shake. And then as it turns, as like it kind of settles again, you can see a head suddenly look in your direction. No eyes, but you can tell there's a mouth, this huge sort of circular mouth ringed with like hundreds and hundreds of teeth. And it's the size of like a massive hippopotamus. And you guys hear it roar in your direction.
You fucking moron! Why don't you listen to the chicken shit that has the brain cells? Turn this fucker around! God damn
Yeah.
it, Scooter!
I thought it was going to be a big ass turtle. I wanted to see a space turtle, damn it. I just gun it.
Fuck your space turtle, Scooter!
As you gun it, the creature lunges in your direction and smashes into the side of your vehicle. I need Krisha and Michelle, who are in the back, to go ahead and roll mobility tests to try to hang on and not fall out. I need Scooter. You can make a driving test, and Skeeter, you can make a stamina test just to keep from being thrown around too badly.
Oh, what happened to our dice luck?
Yeah.
Two failed mobility
Please.
tests.
Oh, look who's getting us out.
Okay, I guess that's important.
Listen,
I'll hook her up on that seat real tight.
Okay.
it's like a suction cup. It just holds
It
it in
is, man.
place.
So I've got fails from Krisha and Michelle, and I've got successes from Skeeter and Scooter. Okay. Oh, great job. Scooter,
Yeah.
you hit the gas. Like, you feel as though the truck just nearly rolled over, but you managed to cut. You keep it from falling over. Skeeter, you slam into your brother, but you manage to kind of grab hold of like this handle on the underside
Oh,
of
shit
the
handle.
You kind of pull yourself up, In the back, however, Krisha and Michelle, you go completely and utterly flying off the back of the flatbed as it tips up. You're unable to kind of control. The two of you, we're gonna say you travel about 10 feet in the air, smashing down. Each of you can take a point of damage as you smash down. The truck continues to peel away, outpacing this creature that is now effectively standing between the on-foot Michelle and Krisha and Scooter and Skeeter, who are in the truck driving away.
Fuck. You can't. They're gonna get me for killing a monster, Scooter. I can't go back, man. I can't go back.
Listen, it's fine. We're going to cut ahead, and we're going to take a slow loop around. It's going to follow us the entire way, and we'll just pull up right next to them. They hop back on. We're gone.
All right, wait. You hold up for just a second. Get the engine revving. Get ready to do a rat bark. Lurch forward just a second. But before you do, I'm going to get its attention.
All right.
Okay, what's the plan?
I can't go back. I can't have a martial death on me. I'm going to take out my flare gun.
Pulling out her shotgun.
A medic death doesn't matter, clearly.
I mean, look.
No, I get it. I get it.
You're a wonderful woman. You're the best.
Okay.
I'm going to try and shoot it with the flare gun.
You're trying to shoot it with a flare gun? Okay.
Yeah, because that's what we're doing. We're making it follow us, right?
Yep, we're keeping it on our ass so we can outpace it and move around.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I always knew you used the power button, so I'm just going to help you out.
Yeah, you got it.
Mm-hmm.
Roll your ranged combat attack as you fire. Out the back of the. We'll say there's a window in the back.
Well, amazing.
Okay.
Chuck, you were rolling.
Two successes.
Both of you guys are rolling fire.
Yeah, you know, Carter Bros, we do a whole lot wrong, but when we need to do something right, sometimes
do
we
the right thing. Don't do the wrong thing for the right reason.
So
Yeah,
you fire
that's
out
right.
this flare gun. You see the flare flies out, smashes into it. It does have some armor.
Base 2 and then one more, so 3.
Okay. You do manage to singe it a little bit, but not all of it seems to get through. But effective in the sense that it doesn't seem to pay attention to Krisha and Michelle, and instead it turns in the direction of this thing that just fired this flame, and you can see it starting to to barrel down in your guys' direction.
It's moving faster, not right.
I'm not worried about putting out cards yet. Just call out something to do. So Skeeter just did something. Krisha or Michelle, you see it starting to run away from you at this point. It doesn't seem to be focusing on you, but it is chasing after the truck. What do the two of you want to do?
Krisha sort of reflexively pulls out her shotgun and pushes Michelle behind her. And as she starts aiming with the gun, though, she sees Krisha start to run away from her. And she's like, wait.
Scared it. You scared it. That's clearly what happened.
Do we have, like, hand comms or anything to the truck?
Yeah, I think that's fine. That's fine to have, sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask, like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
Just hold tight. We're coming back around. We just got to put some distance.
Okay.
And presumably Michelle heard that.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. It sounds like, he's probably yelling really loud and there's like a roar behind you, but like, yeah, that's basically how it comes across. Sure. Okay. Michelle, are you doing anything?
So Michelle had pulled out, so she's got the Hyperdyne 357 Frontier revolver, and so she similarly had pulled it out like she was going to do her duty, and then also was like, "Oh, it's running away." And so I would say that she is trying to kind of scope out the environment just to see if there's anywhere that we could sort of like get behind cover or get a little bit of elevation so that we can like jump back into like the back of the truck.
Observation or survival, I think, in this case, since we're in the wilderness, kind of look for higher ground, that kind of stuff. Sure.
I will observe all day that I can. 1 success.
Okay. There are some trees around here. There are a lot of those like kind of bendy trees here and there that like you can tell that they're strong enough to sustain the actual gusts of wind that are hitting. You also notice that there are other hills around here too that you could get kind of up on top of them. However, this other hill just attacked you. So how you feel about that?
Yeah.
You tell me.
So I think Michelle would kind of turn to Krisha. Maybe we kind of climb a tree so that we can jump into the truck when they come back around.
Sure. Sure. It looks like. Can you climb a tree?
I'm sorry, are you asking if I can climb a tree?
I respectfully.
I climb 5 trees every day just to stay in shape. Can you climb a tree?
I might need your help. I don't climb trees if I can avoid it.
Well, that seems like a gap in your physical. And she's just sort of like, you know,
that's a
what are
cute
you
gun.
doing out here? And so we just slide ourselves towards like the nearest tree.
So you start climbing trees. Since it's not attacking you, no, I won't require a mobility roll since you have the time to do it. So it might not. Like Michelle, you have very high mobility, so probably no.
Oh,
roll.
you definitely need to help Christian.
Christian keeps going up, slide back down.
2 mobility.
Going up, slide back down. Okay. Meanwhile, the gentlemen in the party are being chased by this massive creature that is, in fact, going just as fast as you. You see in front of you, Scooter, there are a handful of other hills, some of which you see are kind of starting to shake a little bit here and there. You notice there's like a river up ahead. One of those bridges are going across. There's also what looks like a handful, like this, like ravine area that you might be able to fit the truck through, like with these taller walls. But as you're like looking for which way to go, you hear the roar once more behind you. And as you look back, we'll say Skeeter, you're able to see this even better. You just see just almost shooting up like mortars off the back of this creature.
What?
You see these huge, these giant chunks of ice come flying up and at your guys' direction. Go ahead. I mean, did you do anything? Do you try to maneuver around with this?
Fucking Scooter, like Delta formation. Skip,
Serpentine!
Go ahead and give me a fucking piloting roll as you try to serpentine with the vehicle. Oh god.
Oh, that's none. I'm gonna push that.
Also, I think at this point everyone can take a point of stress for the situation, as this is a little
All
intense.
right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah. It's
Sure.
push.
Sure.
I'm
Okay.
full of success on the push.
Okay. So you dodge, you turn, and you watch as like right where the truck was, one of these huge chunks of ice lands, and it does in fact have like this sort of like it leaves a crater behind. Whether it exploded or if it was just the weight of it, you're not sure. But you see just, and this bit of like gas starts to come up from where it happened. The two of
Holy
you could probably
shit.
see that. And one after the
I
other.
hate these space turtles. They're real
No,
assholes.
go see Space Turtle.
Now, up ahead, Scooter, you have kind of a choice here. You can either try to turn around on a very, very icy, slick path. You could try to cross this bridge. You could try to kind of push through this very narrow ravine in front of you. That's kind of your 3 options here. What would you like to try to accomplish?
So,
So
hear a stupid idea?
I'm ready.
Is there somewhere where we could try and get it to follow us through a straight stretch where it ain't likely to go dip it to where it can't really go serpentine too well, being as big as it is?
I'm sure you probably could do that. Yeah, no problem.
Is that
Because-
ravine?
I hate to use it so early in the campaign, but I also feel like this is a great time to use it. We know it's following us.
Yeah.
We get in a straight line. I got me a blast charge,
Oh, I like that.
right?
I like that. Then we can go like after it's blown up, we swerve back, pick up some ice turtle chunks. Or some
Right, we
space
take
turtle
that back.
chunks.
Hey man, you want some like equipment that you already had before, or do you want a one of a kind
Mhm.
goddamn alien turtle?
Yep.
And then oh man, he can't bitch at us at that point, right?
No, I mean, hell no.
Meanwhile, I'm
I
like
think we'll
getting
get
the
a
charge
bonus.
ready as we're doing.
Okay. So you're getting your charge ready. Is it a remote charge? Like, do you have actual remote detonation with it?
I haven't. I just know it's the Wildcatter remote charge. I have not studied it.
Oh, yeah, it's got a remote. Yeah, it's right there in the name. Yeah, remote charge.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're fine. Okay. All right. So yeah, it can be detonated by timer or remote. So what would you like to do?
I feel like remote's more fun,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Yeah.
All right, so you guys get in this long stretch You're trying to outpace it, trying to get it to follow you, and it is continuing to charge. It's kind of firing some stuff at you here and there, but you can tell like the chunks of ice that are on its back are starting to deplete. You notice that there's like, there's like little slits and things here and there as more and more of the ice begins to fade away. You can start seeing this almost rock-like exterior of the creature, or if it's scales or what exactly. It's hard to really tell, but you can see that might have been what's like projecting some of it off. But Skeeter, go ahead. Let's do because you want to do it remote. You want to try to time it.
Yeah.
So
And I've
it's
got
gonna,
some
like-
rope I could tie it to where it's kind of like almost like bait. So you can
Oh,
kind of be like,
fishing.
all right, man, just slow down just a little bit. Just a little bit. Let it gain on us. Let it gain just a little bit.
Yep.
Sounds like a heavy machinery roll, I think, right? Because you're using explosives. That seems
Makes sense.
fair. Yeah, let's just do that. So let's see if you can kind of get that timer. Did you climb out the back of the window, and are you on the flatbed with the rope like a badass? No, you're not. You're back in the cab. Got it.
Yes.
He's
You want to
bleeding.
see? You want to see what a real man looks like? I'll show you the power of a motherfucking mustache, Scooter. Huh? I'll show you how cool this looks.
All right, go ahead. Give me your heavy machinery test. Okay.
One success.
So so you leave it out there, you have it on the rope, it's following, and then once you see it catch up and looks like it's actually almost getting ready to launch itself like onto the back of the flatbed, you hit your detonation and it explodes. It has a blast power of 9. Go ahead and roll 9 dice.
Okay.
9 sixes,
Oh.
yeah.
Holy
Wow.
shit.
I remember blast powers and all of the dice that come with blast powers now.
Okay, 96.
9d6.
And one of them
Holy
was a
shit.
6.
Okay, so
Wow.
Yeah, explosives in this game are...
I mean,
Something
potentially they're horrific, but then when you have
Yeah.
a bad roll, you have a bad roll. But with this
I think
one,
it
the
does some...
extra damage.
Yeah.
And the damage caused is armor piercing too. Okay, so that's going to
Yeah,
have
the
its
intended
armor.
target suffers an extra 2 points of damage automatically,
It's gonna be taking
and it's armor
3.
piercing.
Okay, so none of its armor helps it, and instead it takes the full damage. And what this effectively looks like, you guys have been kind of calling it a turtle, and that's sort of right, except it's not so much a shell, but it has that kind of rotund shape at the very top. And like you can see now as it's been running at fuller speed, it's got these 6 gigantic legs, these huge, almost tree trunk style, like elephant leg style, as it's just running and running and running. And then as the explosion goes off, you watch it just kind of knocks it off kilter, and it slides, and you can see it lift up in the air, land on the ground, and slide across. And it continues to slide across the ice for a little bit longer. It's very slick out here, and then splash into one of the rivers. And you guys get a lot of distance at that point. But Scooter, as you're looking in rearview mirror, you notice that it is getting up and kind of shaking, and you can tell it is not in fact dead, but you have put a significant distance between you and it.
Oh.
If you would like to give me a piloting roll to try
Yeah.
to turn back around safely and pick up Christian
Yeah.
and Michelle, we can do that now. Yeah.
Absolutely, I do.
Yeah. Go for it.
I got one of them one things.
Oh no,
you're
you
still
gotta
fine.
stress.
You're still fine. You're keeping it together.
Okay.
You're okay. But as you as you try to turn, you feel yourself almost spinning out. He's like, oh crap, 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 crap. As this massive, like you are in a massive flatbed, and you try to turn it on a dime, and doing so, you nearly flip it yourself, and it skids and skids and skids until you're able to finally get control of it, kick it back into gear, and screech, kind of get it going for a while. You notice that again, you have like a football field size distance on it, but it is getting up and slowly trying to build back up its momentum as it's like looking a bit. You hear it roar once more, and then Skeeter, you've been messing around with electronics and such. You suddenly hear coming out of the radio, coming out of whatever you were using to communicate with Michelle and Krish, this glitch just begins to overtake. It's like pop whatever kind of like earbuds you might have in. The actual console itself begins to do it, and it seems to coincide perfectly with the roar. And then you watch as it turns its head in the direction of where your vehicle is, like it knows exactly where you're at, and starts running at you. It's a ways back, so you still have time. Meanwhile, Krish,
Man, that's
Michelle,
bullshit. That thing ain't even got eyes.
it does not. Krish and Michelle, meanwhile, you manage to make it up the trees, and you can see and hear this huge explosion in the distance. Your instincts were relatively correct, as you do see there are a handful of other hills that have kind of begun to shake a bit. You get the sense that there are a handful of them out here, but you're not on top of one, thankfully. But you do see the truck driving past. You do see getting to, getting them up, getting them nice and close, and you can potentially jump off. So why don't the two of you roll a mobility test? While you do that, I think Adam's ready to join. So let me see if I can get...
Ooh.
Yeah, so you guys
can I
talk amongst
push
yourselves.
Krisha? Like, I feel like that would sort of be, it's a little fastball specialist where like she's kind of trying to like launch you into the truck and then kind of like jump after.
Already rolled. I'm sorry. Is that
Oh, just flavor, just from a like, what does this look like perspective?
Then yes, absolutely. I will happily take a fastball special.
Or so I didn't actually roll any successes. So I feel like
out of the tree.
I'm gonna.
Are you gonna push it?
Yeah, I'm gonna push it for sure. Because otherwise, basically, that's crap. So basically, I was really focused on like pushing you, and then kind of mistimed it where like the truck is driving by, and then I'm like, oh shit, and then I have to like jump really quick and kind of hang on because it took me a little bit longer to kind of push and then jump all at the same time. So I also got a stress, but my panic roll was keeping it together.
Hey,
Okay.
I gotta tell you, I think the worst thing about all of that is Skeeter, you done fucked up. You didn't even manage to blow the thing up. I want to get us some space turtle parts.
All these hills are fucking space turtles. We need to go.
All right. Well, if I'd known we were going to do some dumbass space turtle fishing, I would have brought more fucking charges. I thought we were potentially going to rescue some people or salvage some shit. I didn't expect to follow my dumbass brother into this nonsense.
Krish is very happy that Skeeter seems to have forgotten this was Krish's idea and not Scooter's.
Yeah, it's fair. At this point, I think that I'm even sure that Scooter forgot that it was your idea.
Krish is not correcting any of them.
Yeah.
There he is. We got an Adam. All right, one sec while I fix these screens really fast.
Suddenly out from the truck, there like pops up. We're like, holy shit, where did you
the
come
whole
from?
time.
He was just taking a
Oh,
nap
wow.
in the back. Oh, God.
It turns out he's playing a space turtle.
He's playing a space turtle.
How embarrassing. We almost already killed your character.
Yeah, we tried to blow you up. That's my
shows
bad.
up after the fight, like
Yeah.
come
Isn't that
on.
How
great?
convenient.
You know how it is.
Typical-
Don't trust me with explosives.
It's
I-
like how you never
Typical.
see Bruce
Typical.
Wayne and Batman in the same spot. You never see Adam and the space turtle at the same spot either.
Yeah.
I love
That
this.
is
I'm going to
true.
keep acting like I know what's going on.
All right.
You do that.
They just got chased by a gigantic space turtle. We'll fill you in later.
Okay.
We'll get you in pretty quick. Don't worry, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm happy to see you. That's awesome. All right.
Happy to be here.
Krisha, Michelle, you hop off the tree. You get in the flatbed. Scooter, you manage to keep control.
Crawl back in.
You crawl back inside in the front cab, and you all manage to race out and away as this thing is not quite able to catch up with you. You see behind you, those of you who are in the flatbed, this thing eventually loses interest. You see a few others wake, almost like they're checking something out, like a dog waking up from a nap, and then putting their heads back down into whatever their slumber that they're in. You push forward. You're continuing to get back on the trail towards that plume in the distance, and you kind of have to pass by what looks like 2 or 3 different of these bridges, Scooter. And then for the next hour, 45 minutes or so, most of the drive is okay. Like you go back to kind of seeing some interesting sights. You get confused and have to turn around. You find a river that kind of cuts you off the path that you wanted to take. And then as you pass over this semi-constructed bridge that at first, Scooter, maybe you're not even sure you should go across, you see about 100 feet from it, 3 people are standing in like the shallows of the river. Not the river itself, but they're standing in this frigid. And I want to remind everybody, it's like 35 degrees out, right? Cold winds are blowing, and the waters themselves have to be freezing. But you three individuals standing in the water, and they're all just looking up at the sky. And they're just standing there. And they're maybe, I don't know, 50 feet or so from where you kind of cross. You can see that there are a handful of bits of equipment and tools and things scattered about on the ground near this bridge. Scooters, you can tell just by looking at it, your roughneck sense of, what those things are for. This is for that is for this. And you'd imagine they were probably working on it. Anybody who would like to, go ahead and make an observation test.
Yeah, I'll make one too. This looks fucked up as all hell.
Michelle sees nothing.
Gotta open your eyes for that.
Man, I see money.
All right.
People
Krish.
too, but I see equipment.
Looks like Krish
3
and Skeeter.
successes. Wow, Jeremy.
Okay,
Money's
so
a
Krish
powerful
and Skeeter.
motivator.
Both of you notice one very obvious thing. These are all working Joes. All three of them. They're in like almost like this triangle formation. Like their chests are facing each other. They kind of create like almost like a Mexican standoff in a way. But they're not like their arms are directly at their sides. Their legs are straight down. Their posture is perfect, and their heads are just looking up. You can see the glow in their eyes, and all of them are just looking directly up at the sky. That's what both Krish and Skeeter see. Skeeter, you can ask some more questions, though, as you get 2 extra successes.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest. What looks like is there like equipment here that is valuable enough to stop for? So that's all I care about.
Okay. Not really. Nothing that you couldn't potentially get back at the base.
And working Joes are probably worth quite a bit, right?
I would think so. And has anybody looked up to see what the hell it is that they're
I
looking
don't
at?
want to look at what they're looking up at. I've learned my lesson, man. Don't look at the weird shit. Don't get close to the weird shit. Let's grab the working Joes. They're worth money.
They could help out too when we get to the salvage thing.
Hey, Scooter, what's up there?
Oh shit! What do I see up there?
You see, it's the storm. Remember, like there's like that cloud cover for a storm, and you just see like the clouds are just kind of swirling, like almost like this kind of slow moving. It's not quite like hurricane eye of the storm kind of deal, but you can definitely see the clouds just kind of in this like this sort of spiral swirl kind of deal.
Skater, you're not going to believe it. There is a giant butthole up in that cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Just there. I think I saw it like trying to talk, and I'm pretty sure it said Skater.
Yeah, this is why that game where you talk about, hey, that cloud looks like this, that cloud looks like that. All you ever see is buttholes.
Well,
But let's just stop. Let's get the working Joes. They got the same sort of rectal, enchantment that you do. I don't understand why, but it's fine.
you like what you like, man. Don't be knocking anything.
Do you need help?
I will. I would love some help.
Okay.
Okay, so the 2 of you get out of the truck, head down, and again, they're in the shallows of the water. The water is probably up to their knees, maybe. And you would imagine it's freezing. You can even see that there's like chunks of ice here and there. It's not like fully ice. It's sort of dripping down a bit. But they're all they make no reaction to your approach as the 2 of you get closer, and they're just.
Krish is pretty jumpy, but all the short interrupt. She's pulling out her gun and just keeping
Absolutely.
it trained.
Do you go with them, or do you just kind of stay from a distance?
No, just
train?
in the car.
Okay.
I mean, if you want to keep something trained, is that their turtle made some weird like sound that'll mess with my earpiece? Who knows that sort of thing messes with their little toaster heads, right? I don't know. So, like, hopefully they're just inert. We take them back, somebody fixes them up, or maybe they act funny and we just cut bait. Is that fair, Michelle? If these things act weird, I don't want to fight with no working Joe. If it acts weird, we just run.
Yeah, that works.
Cool.
Can working Joe run faster than a space turtle?
I don't know. That space turtle had 6 legs. This thing has 2.
But there's
Space
3
turtle's
of them.
big as a fucking plethora of buses shoved together. That thing's a regular person size. Stop staring at the butthole. Do the math, Scooter.
I can run as fast as a working Joe.
Faster.
So can you
You
run
work
faster
harder.
than a space turtle?
You probably could.
No. I appreciate the confidence. I do appreciate the confidence, but you got to understand your limitations. Because if you think
Sure.
you can outrun something and you can't outrun something, you're going to get it.
That's
And
fair.
that's just what happens.
All right, we're good to go then, because we can outrun these. Because we could outrun. Yeah, it all maths out.
So Michelle, Skeeter, get to the edge. A couple feet out from you, you can see there's the 3 of them. They make no reaction to your approach. It's not like you're extraordinarily quiet, like the ground crunches here and there. The river is not like extraordinarily fast moving, but you would guess that a little bit further out it gets deeper and deeper. But where they're at is, again, it's just up to their knees. What do you do?
Hey!
We are in need of a return. So, like, you're kind of talking to one, and I'm kind of talking to a different one. Orders are we're returning.
Okay.
Hello?
Come on, Joe. Catch a ride.
Michelle, roll a
Damn
command
line.
test.
Yeah, that thing that I didn't take points in yet. Let's see how this goes. That is 3 successes.
Nice.
Somehow.
You see all like they function in complete and utter unison as their heads come down, their eyes dim. They all turn in such a way that they face you, and they have this, this kind of automated, digitalized voice. Like there's like no movement of mouth or anything like that. It's just like you can see the vocalization comes out. You just see apologies, please indicate next task, signal interference, and then they start one by one, and like again, perfect expectation. Like one of them goes, and the one comes from behind it. Like each one of them has like 2 feet in between, and they all single file walk their way out of the actual river, and they stand up next to you. And you guys, the 2 of you, notice that they are soaking wet, and there's like frost and grime that has grown. You get the feeling that they've been standing in that water for like a long time.
Your orders are to relocate to the flatbed of that truck and sit in the bed of the truck.
All 3 of them, perfect unison, affirmative, and they start climbing up one after the other, and they just sit in the back of the truck in like this perfect ducks in a row kind of deal.
Man, someday they're going to make a hall of it out of you, Michelle. Toaster Whisperer.
Are they? Do they have any crests, or are they wearing any uniforms or anything?
Yeah, they're all Seegson, so they're working Joes. So just in general, working Joes tend to be Seegson, and so in this case, the colony is since it's a sloppy Joe. You would imagine they were sent. They were part of the advanced team. So, but yeah, they have like those kind of bluish, grayish kind of coveralls, and then they have the Seegson logo on them.
All right. Well, we've got located valuable missing assets 1, 2, and 3. On to get some more.
Yeah, man, for price per square inch, you have hit the motherload, Michelle. Good work.
Well, I mean, the back of that truck's going to get a little bit friendly, but the more, the richer.
Exactly. And hell, we can just put some shit in their laps. They don't have to be comfortable.
All right. And she just kind of like spryly sort of jumps sideways onto the like side of the bed of the truck.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll. I'm going to let you have that. We know we have
Thanks.
problems. So I'll let you have it. Okay.
Me and my 2 of 3 health left, just to say.
So you get back in and you continue your trek. You continue to get closer and closer until eventually, maybe 20, 25 minutes later, you crest over top of a ridge, Scooter. You can see up ahead, there is this huge scar that has been effectively carved into the ground, maybe about a quarter mile long. You can see like there's like a scattering of these ice-capped trees that you've been seeing here and there. Some have been literally broken, others have been uprooted. Small fires here and there among the rubble. And you can see that there is this trail of increasingly more like robust chunks of equipment and debris until you finally see the shuttle itself that seems to have accordioned itself into the base of some kind of cliff face. And that is what you see. What would you like to do?
I mean, close in. I mean, I am feeling so good about finding any survivors. I mean, if they're in the same shape as that craft there, people don't handle getting accordioned as well as machines do.
And
Hell,
here's the
let's
thing,
hurry up. There's a limit to how long people can last. Let's go.
That's true. And hey, sometimes tough decisions are necessary. You save the right equipment here, you can save a lot of lives back at the base. It's already established back there. Right? This is time for some hard math, Scooter.
I mean, that's just all math, but yeah, sure. Let's
I know.
pull on up.
Because you're the dumb brother.
Listen, you're the one who couldn't figure out how to turn on the damn thing when we were driving away from the
What's it
big
called?
ass turtle.
What's that thing called? Do you know what
Space
this piece
turtle?
of equipment? This fucking piece of equipment. Shut the fuck up and drive. Dumbass.
That's awfully rude.
Michelle, your group.
Michelle?
I think my mustache looks good, man. I worked hard on this thing, man.
Yeah.
I could tell.
Michelle's group
I mean,
psychology
next
roll
time.
just keeps on giving. The gift
Yeah.
just keeps on giving. So Michelle at this point is actually
one side. Still waiting for the other side at this point. Yeah.
So
Would
Michelle's
be
actually
good
gonna, like-
luring the turtle away and blowing it up.
Sure.
Michelle has jumped out of the bed of the truck and is
Okay.
just sort of like moving on. Like
Clamber
lives
down
are
the
in
ridge.
danger. Minutes may
Yeah.
matter.
Absolutely. So as you get down kind of right in front of it, there's a wharf down here. There's a handful of fires. Some of it's the debris. Some of it's the vegetation's on fire. You can hear the sounds of like the groaning, the creaking of the metal here and there. You can tell that the ship it's certainly crash landed in the sense that you think someone managed to finally get control of it and had a more gradual last bit. But nonetheless, like it is in a pretty rough state. So what would you do as you as approach? Like there's debris scattered about. There's the actual parts of the capsule are still in place. What would Michelle do? What would all of you do if you
Michelle is basically just using her voice, like, "Hello, if you need help, call out. Medic here." And so she's just like trying to like assess for survivors. So she's just shouting and listening for any responses back.
You hear a reply. Adam, what does she hear in reply to this shout that I'm a medic, does anyone need help? As you hear somebody outside of the actual capsule that you're currently in.
Yes, there is someone in here.
Yeah, keep talking. Keep talking. I can't quite hear where you are. What's your name?
People call me Mr. Geralt.
Michelle,
Okay,
you would know that name, by the way. Literally second in command of Seeks inside of this thing.
Oh, and so she sees her future career flashing in front of her. And if she can save the ass of the second in command, that will mean good things for her. And so she's, Mr. Yes, Mr. I will absolutely keep talking. Do you feel any pain anywhere?
I think that's part of the problem. I'm having trouble feeling much of anything, really.
Oh, that's not good. And she kind of turns around and she's like, "Hurry your asses up!" And I'm sorry, your name was Gerald?
Mr. Geralt.
Mr. Geralt. And so she's going to turn around like, "Hurry your asses up! It's Geralt!"
And all of
Like
you would
expecting that they're
recognize the
going to.
name. Yeah, all of you would know the name.
And so
okay.
she's going to
Are you going
kind of
inside?
try to start lifting and moving things to, kind of a little Marco Polo action here.
Okay. Yeah, it takes some time as you're having to move some things, some of which is extremely hot to the touch. You also notice that not everybody survived the crash, as you see bodies, pieces of bodies, you see blood splattering, these types of things as you're pushing through. The rest of you hear Michelle calling, you see her down at the wreckage kind of moving through some things. What are the three of you doing?
I'll throw this thing in park, grab my toolkit, hop on out and run over there.
Okay.
Start helping out, cutting down pieces with my torch, maybe.
Sound good?
I suppose this would be a good time to get the pup out, because that thing can detect life forms and scan the area. And life forms are good. They can also help me pick up if there's like something that's giving off reading as something, expensive. But life forms. Clearly, we're here to save people.
Okay.
So I'll be doing that. I'll be getting the pup thing ready to go around scanning and trying to find
The area.
ideal. Especially if I can find a vehicle. Honestly, that's what Skeeter really wants, is to find another vehicle.
Okay. And then what would Krisha be doing?
Bush has spent up until this time talking very earnestly to Skeeter about how we need to dismantle the working drones, because if we return them as full assets, I have to do a bunch of liability paperwork. But if we have salvage parts that you can sell individually, then we don't have to return them as whole assets. And so she's trying to talk him into dismantling the drones into parts. And when she hears that Mr. Girl is there and sees that she has none of the urgency that Michelle did, and when she hears, she kind of gets up and fucking hell, and she'll go out and walk up beside Michelle. Did you say Jackie? Jack Girl?
Yes, girls. Yes.
Yeah,
he's in
Jackie
there.
boy, where the hell are you?
Is that a Krishna I hear?
Sure.
Hello, Krishna. I might very much like to get out of here.
I'm going to say that this communication is probably... It's very faint, or maybe we say it's happening over comms as you guys are still pushing into the vehicle itself. So you can kind of hear the crackling of the voice, and he just kind of do it an all broadcast, girl, because you probably still have your equipment enough on you.
Okay.
Scooter, give me a heavy machinery roll as you cut through things.
Absolutely.
Oh my god.
How's 5 do? Is that a good amount?
It's
And
too
successes?
much. You ignite the rocket fuel and everything explodes.
No, I done
Have a
touched.
good chapter 4, guys.
Got 2
All
more.
right. New character.
New character time. Yeah, you cut through honestly, it is very much the proverbial hot knife through butter, as Scooter is just precision cutting. And it's not just you're using the torch very well. You know exactly where to go. You know these shifts really well. This is one of your gigs, and so you know exactly where to cut here and there. And it doesn't take much time at all for Scooter to make a space for Michelle and Krish and to get inside. And what you do see is it is obliterated in here. Nothing is in the proper position anymore. There are bodies. There's equipment tossed all over the place. You can see that there are chunks of the walls itself that have buckled in upon. And as you're kind of peeking around, you can see Skeeter's pup kind of comes in, starts scanning around before you guys proceed too far in. And Skeeter, what you see on your pup display is the interior of the ship. And you can tell with each passing moment, the roof of the ship is continuing to sag, and at some point it's going to snap and fall. You notice that one thing that seems to be keeping it in place is in fact a vehicle, as there does seem to be an ATV. Now, there do seem to be 3 life signs in here. 2 of them inside the vehicle, and one of them seems to be at the front of the vehicle, pinned against a wall. And as you step inside and you look around, we see Jack Geralt pinned against the wall with the ship, or with the SUV kind of pinning him against the wall. And so what do we see? What does Jack look like, Adam? What does he look like?
Jack has like chin length hair, and he has a like a beard, probably about the length of like Chuck's beard right now. Not incredibly long, but also not short. So he's wearing like a hat, like a ball cap, and a button-up shirt with short sleeves, and like a front pocket on it with like a notepad and a pencil. He's got a chrome briefcase in one hand that he's holding on to.
Never let it go of, yeah. To Jack's left, you can see the entrance into the cockpit, except it's rock face, as it looks like the cockpit has essentially accordion so much that it's effectively flattened. Whoever was in that, there's no possible hope for it. Jack, you, I'll say you were conscious, and you did hear that there was another voice that was trying to call out and get inside, but maybe you were dreaming it, maybe you weren't, but they never did come inside. There were a few times when you heard howls, and you heard footsteps and things kind of shuffling around outside, but again, you kind of lost a little blood, you banged your head, you might have a concussion. You don't think anything is majorly broken, but when you look down, like your legs are pinned underneath the car here. It's more like you're just stuck, and your legs have, like, the bottom of the ship has been wrenched free, and you're right on the surface of the moon itself, and like it's the cold that is really kind of making you numb more than anything. Mm-hmm. So that is what you guys see as you come inside.
So as Michelle kind of comes around the corner, she's going to kind of shuffle through. I imagine she has, kind of like a backpack sling kind of a thing. And she has an accessory personal data transmitter that tracks like vital signs and all those kinds of things. And so really the first thing she's going to do is she's going to kind of, for whichever like right arm or left arm is easier to get to, the first thing she's going to do is just sort of like slap this thing kind of around his wrist to try to kind of assess like vital signs and like all of those kinds of things. So it's one of the things that medics get.
You when you pick up his hand, you notice that it's kind of dirty, dark looking.
Yes, we are going to get you out of the situation. We have already done battle with local creatures here en route to saving you. So like she's like just selling up what we have all done to rescue this second in command.
Interesting to hear that battle has been done.
We risked life and limb, in fact. And she'll like give credit to kind of everyone else and, kind of all the things that were done we rescued. There were some working Joes that were not working when we found them, but we got them working, and we've got them in the truck with us as well. And she's kind of talking, waiting for someone much stronger and with better equipment than her to like actually try to move some things here.
Here's an idea.
Just started to move it and ask for Scooter and Skeeter to help. After looking at Jack with narrowed eyes and clenching her jaw.
All right, Scooter, here's the sound of some brain cells making connections here, right? You still got their
Let me
Jack,
cup my
right?
ears so I can hear it. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear this? Okay, you still got that Jack?
Sure.
Okay, we got a whole bunch of scrap there. So what we're going to do some Jenga, right? Build that shit up. Because we got to move this vehicle, get Mr. Geralt out. We move that vehicle. That thing is load bearing at this point, so we got to create a new load. right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna create the new load, move the old load out, but we need to have the shit cleared to where I can jump in that vehicle, gun that fucker out as fast as possible, and have everybody else a clean path out. Because once we move the vehicle, I mean, you dump some weak loads. We know that, right? But you just need to build one that's good enough to get this done.
You sure like talking about loads a lot. You gotta go to the bathroom.
You like talking
Scott?
about buttholes, okay, man?
Listen,
What are you
It's just
two
nature.
talking about?
Saving
are we moving
lives.
things?
We're talking about saving lives.
right now,
I appreciate
y'all
your
talk a
efforts.
completely different language than
Yeah.
that didn't sound like what you were talking about, but good on you.
yeah.
Thank
Now,
you
in the
so
process
much.
of that argument, we were like building up the structure to get the jack
Sure.
going and winch it out.
I will roll. You had so many successes on your initial. We'll roll that over because you had like 5
Yeah.
successes on your heavy machinery.
Yeah.
So I'll say you're able to construct this effectively like a pillar to create a load-bearing pillar. So that's in place. What's the next step of this plan?
I mean, we've got the other vehicle there. Get everybody ready to go. Because we don't, I mean, it's load bearing now, but once we move that vehicle, we don't know. So I'm going to hop in that vehicle, have somebody ready to get hands on Mr. Geralt, move his ass the second I let out a rat bark on this here SUV's tires. Right? And then you
Right.
get him out, you fucking gun it, and then I gun it, and then we proceed with more salvaging.
I will volunteer to stay by Geralt.
Okay. Skeeter, you're hopping into the vehicle. It is, you would recognize it. It is what's called an XT37C. It's basically like a fancy, very nimble, mobile SUV for like 2 to 4 people, depending upon how it's fitted. You even know that sometimes like people strap maybe a gun or something on the back too. There's not one of those on right now. However, when you go inside, you notice that there are 2 people in here already, both of which appear to be unconscious. One seems to have a fairly significant head wound, and the other, a woman, you'd probably peg her 30s or 40s or so. She has, well, I mean, you can't quite figure out exactly what the hell's wrong with her. She has like a series of like these patches of just blood gushing here and there, and she has gone extremely pale. But
Hey,
both seem to
Michelle-
currently be alive.
I'm real sorry. I know this is kind of like a danger close situation, but if you don't mind jumping in the danger mobile, there's a couple more people in here in need of your expertise. You don't mind doing some emergency procedurals on the go, right?
And Michelle will sort of look over to Krisha, who had sort of been moving closer to Mr. Geralt, and she'll say, "All right, you got him.
Do
I'm jumping on over."
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Krishna. And like, it's very obvious that he honestly thinks that your name has an N in it.
sure. She spends the entire time shit talking you and calling you Jackie Boy.
That's so good.
Yeah,
Jackie Boy. What are you doing out of your boardroom chair? This is not the kind of place I would imagine you'd be. This doesn't have that ass cushioning I know you like so much.
Yes, I do prefer to be comfortable, but I am rather hungry, actually.
Stupid. This is really stupid of you, Jackie Boy.
Well, I guess it's better to be stupid than to be dead. And so I thank you for coming. It's really
Peter,
appreciated.
can you hurry up? I'm so tired of listening to this man.
So, Michelle, give me a medical test, medicine test as you assess them. Skeeter, you can give me a drive test to try to carefully drive the vehicle out without knocking over the reinforcement pillar and everything.
Okay. I'm taking a second to give Michelle.
Rolled 0 successes the first time.
Okay.
So pushed and got 1 success and distress, and panic is still keeping it together.
Okay. I will say that you are able to ascertain that one of them, the one who suffered a head contusion, it's like you can tell that it looks probably worse than it really is. but ultimately, like, they're going to need some proper medical treatment. You have, again, assuming your staff and such gets everything set up, if you can get them back to base, they'll probably be okay if you can get them back relatively quickly. The other one, lots of blood, and as you kind of, the wounds are, they're not consistent with like pressure wounds, or not consistent with like wounds someone might suffer from a crash. Like, they just seem really inconsistent. With only one success, you would need more time, maybe a lab, maybe better lighting, all that kind of stuff to really get an assessment. But I'll say one success is enough to make sure they don't die as you remove them from the vehicle. Skeeter, you rolled a piloting test, 2 successes. I'll say not only are you able to back this away from Geralt, but you're able to continue to back it up and get it right back through the hole that Scooter had made for everyone to get in. Like, he kind of cut like a big hole in the side of it, and you're able to back it out into the open wild. So yeah, you've been able to. You got the vehicle. No problem.
Woo!
Okay.
We did it.
Nice work, Scooter.
Big damn heroes today.
Big damn heroes.
For the first time in like 2-3 hours, you can move again. Like, your legs are still kind of without feeling, but you realize it's just like they're frozen, and they don't appear broken. Now that you finally can see them, you look down, you don't see any significant broken bones or huge fractures. Like, you've got tons of wounds, but they're all, you lucked out significantly. You also notice that, like, as the vehicle backs away, underneath it you see this tarnished looking metallic Seegson case as well, that had been kind of ping-ponging around within the shuttle, kind of bouncing into people left and right. And then there is like a plethora of other equipment as well that can probably still be salvaged.
Yeah.
Chris is fully supporting Jackie at this point, so
Okay.
When
we're
you
able to stand.
when you pick Jack up, you feel something slightly wet, and you look and you see that he had like what looks like a piece of some sort of raw meat that he had been trying to sustain himself with, and like you see like a couple of tiny little bones on the ground.
I was gonna make a joke that he peed himself. But he
Oh,
was done
there's-
eating the other
I mean,
people.
If I was there if he was there long enough, yeah, that probably happened. But I don't know how long he was there.
About 3 hours in total, maybe.
No, probably not. Okay, if it's 3 hours, yeah. Never mind. I thought he was there for a couple days.
No.
Okay.
But
Never mind.
Michelle has also come over sort of while Krisha is kind of supporting you, and she's, kind of doing the full, like, I know you say you feel okay, but you are not a medical professional. I am a medical professional. And so she's, kind of doing all the things to make sure that his legs seem functional and responsive, and, kind of like trying to help kind of warm him back up again if the kind of exposure to the cold was part of the issue, and just giving him the best medical care, perhaps ignoring the other folks a little bit that might be in need of a little bit of extra care. But, they're okay. They're fine.
Okay. So we'll say the vehicle's out. The 3 survivors are out. As you guys get yourselves out.
I'm so
Go ahead.
sorry, Jeff. Did Krish see the bronze Seegson case thing, like while she was propping up Jack?
Yeah, it's right there. It's you were right next to it. You see, it's about this. It's bigger than his briefcase, but not quite as big as a suitcase.
When Michelle comes over, she's going to say, like, if you can hold him up, I want to grab that.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you. I would hate to leave that behind.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah.
for you.
Priorities.
How much
Got 'em.
cologne
Got 'em.
are you wearing? Jesus. You
Uh,
smell like a 14-year-old boy.
I don't wear cologne.
Chris, you go around sniffing a lot of 14-year-old boys.
Not on purpose.
I mean, you're the one who just like 15 minutes ago was like, don't go shaming me for my kinks about buttholes. If she likes smelling 14-year-old boys, that's her. No, actually, no, that's wrong. That is wrong.
I use
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
It is corporate sealed. So you would know this is the type of thing that has to enter a very specific biometric passcode. It is probably either Jax might do it, but more than likely it's going to be Arthur York. More than likely is the person who would have to open this.
Jackie boy, can you French this or something to open it, or does Artie have to?
We can worry about that later, as long as it's recovered. Thank you for worrying about it, though. And
Is there a visible biometric like thing anywhere? Like, does it show where a thumbprint over?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not like a fingerprint.
Advantage of him being weak. She's gonna lift his hand and kind of.
Oh, it totally happens. Yeah, it totally happens. And he says, by the way, I don't wear cologne. Sandalwood scented soap.
You grab his
I'll
hand.
just put him back in the wreckage.
You shove his hand down onto the biometrics. So two things happen. First, you can see this little display goes red, suggesting that it's not working. Secondly, Jack, you feel a pierce in your thumb, and then I need you to roll a stamina test.
Oh, I like it.
Dear.
All right. This is what he's great at. He's amazing.
I figured.
You might want to push that.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
I was just being a dick. I didn't want to kill your character.
Hey.
Okay. Okay.
Uh-oh.
So
You got some
you
panic.
watch and feel as Jack immediately goes unconscious and limp in your arms and flops to the ground.
And twitches.
Holy shit, Chris, you
Damn it.
killed
Starts
him.
twitching. Yeah.
What?
Okay.
What?
Okay. Only
What the fuck
four
are y'all
of us-
doing up
only
there?
4 of us
Look for
saw it.
expensive shit and get it out.
Chris just killed Jack.
God
Oh.
damn it!
Oh,
Stop fucking killing people!
Just-
No more space
Chris,
turtles!
Chris.
No killing corpse! The fuck? Just get expensive shit and get back!
Only the 4 of us saw it. Nobody else saw it.
So what?
Michelle is checking for a pulse and all of those things. Like, before y'all lose your shit, hold on. Hold
He's
on.
alive. He's definitely alive. Yeah.
He's
I
not
love that the
dead.
ex-con and the Marshal are immediately on board of like, nothing happened.
So what? I don't know.
He's
Okay.
he's alive. We're not. He's still. And she's gonna examine kind of the hand and kind of try to see like.
Just an ejection. More than likely, it's some sort of countermeasure. Someone tried to do this thing, knocks them out, leaves them there long enough for security to come get whoever that was. More than likely, he'll wake. And it's possible maybe his thumb will get infected. They might have to cut it off, something like that. But otherwise,
That's how you get an arm. You start with the thumb.
We just found him. We just got to introduce ourselves to him, and now he's out. And she's looking through her bag to see if she's got something that can like
do you
bring
have
it back to
any
consciousness.
kind of adrenaline or never sleep pills or anything like that on
I
you?
do. I have 5 never sleep pills.
Let's have some
do,
fun.
do you want to grind some up and just sort of shove
I
it into
would
him?
like
Make
to
it
grind them
snort
up.
it?
They're like $2 each, so I got one
Absolutely.
for everybody.
Nice,
So
nice. I did the same with bug juice protein drink.
nice. So yes, she's grinding up and she just keeps looking at like part of her is like annoyed at Krisha because it's like she sees this meal ticket of like save his life, this is good, and then she was also the one who was like, what's in the box, so she can't really be too mad about that, so it's just sort of
should not be here. should not be
So,
in charge of anyone.
grinding up the never sleep,
Mhm.
kind of mixing a little liquid into it and kind of shoving it into his mouth.
And shortly thereafter, like the scene from Pulp Fiction, he just whoosh, pops back up. And Jack, you are now out. We'll say you're outside of the ship now, as Skeeter and Scooter are doing the salvage mostly, coming back and forth, pulling some stuff out that needs to be pulled out. Chris, Michelle, you're out outside of the ship at this point. Jack, you're back and awake, and your senses are suddenly crisp and clear. Roll an observation test for me, Jack, as you pop up.
You lost a lot of blood. Weird.
I got one.
You hear something. Everything's extremely loud. Your eyes are like you just feel like you just did a line of cocaine. Like it just all of a sudden, and you swear that you hear singing. You swear that you hear, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal," and like from somewhere outside and around.
Yeah, Mr. Girl like kind of looks scared, and he starts backing up back into the crash, and he's like, "I'm going to go back.
No,
I'm going to go
Mr.
back."
Girl, that's not a good
we
idea.
just
That place
pulled
is
you out
going
of
to
there.
crumble. No, Mr. Girl, you need to stick here. In fact, why don't you get inside this nice, safe SUV? I've got shotgun prepared just for you. Luxury, accommodating exportation in that direction come in the near future. I would like to ask you, in your professional opinion, where is the most expensive equipment on this ship?
Well, I would say it would have to be that briefcase.
Okay, that's good. Second most expensive thing. If I was to need to save something, human lives, of course, are important, but like maybe corporate property, something need to be gathered. Any recommendations?
Would there be anything specific, Jeff, or can I just make something up?
You would know that there is. You can make up whatever you like, but generally speaking, it's mostly mining gear. There's some corporate like some like of the personal belongings of various like admins and such, and some basic mining equipment. But you can tell just by the fact that like this is the SUV that it's less. Most of the heavy duty equipment has already gone down. This is all just like smaller, minor, finer things. So like you got something in mind.
Here's the thing. I'm fresh out of prison, okay? This is legitimately all about taking care of myself. You trust a man who looks out for himself, all right? So I ain't gonna look into any shit. I don't give a shit what you tell me to look for. You want me to find something? I grab it. But this may be our only chance to grab something.
I can think of something. So there is some mining equipment in there, but there is a secret stash of bourbon in there. And I think if you could find it and you could administer some of it to me, then you could have some for yourself.
Fighting.
Mr. Girl, did we just become best friends?
Well, I do enjoy a good bourbon.
All right. I'll go look for
And
that
Michelle's
bourbon.
just sort of looking at Skeeter like, I just saved his damn life, and you're gonna get because you did the bourbon.
I'm a dirty piece of shit, ma'am.
Crumbling up to the side.
With Jack's instruction, you're able to track down a very large case, and it's not just bourbon. As I said, there's a lot of very specific like admin gear, and by admin gear, I definitely mean the types of things that Adam's talking about, like booze, drugs, other little fancy things, entertainment devices, stuff that most folks probably don't have. Now, Scooter,
I may or may not pocket like an entertainment device for myself.
Absolutely.
So does Quish.
Absolutely. Scooter, as you're bringing some of the basic salvage back, you notice that the working Joes are not in the back of the flatbed.
Oh shit! They don't wander it off. I'll hop up on the flatbed, get a little height, take a look around. See if I see
Observation
'em.
test. Take like a +1 as you're hopping up on top and looking
All
around
right.
a bit.
Click on the one. All right.
Okay.
Keep it together. 2 successes.
2
and
successes is good.
Face
You absolutely see them about 50 yards away, standing at the base of what looks like one of these semi-destroyed trees. They are looking up, and you can see that there is something hanging in the tree. With 2 successes, you see that there is a torso up in the tree.
Doc, them
Yeah?
working Joes you save's gone sideways and they're worshiping a dead person in a tree.
Is it dead like y'all just thought Jack was dead, but he was fine, or like dead?
Well, like it's missing its legs and an arm, and like I see the spaghetti hanging out from the center.
Oh, yeah. That sounds dead. But I'll take a look, I suppose. And she's seen this like Jack Skeeter friendship budding, and she just sort of like rolls her eyes and is like, all right, let's go look and see about the dead person in a tree. Did you say in a tree?
I said in the tree.
Michelle,
And
when you
working
head
Joes
over,
are doing that triangle thing again.
Michelle,
Oh, yes.
thank you.
Mr. Girl. Oh, well, I'm just doing my job. Of course, just doing my job. Off to go do my job again. And so she like turned around quickly, and she just sort of like shoots a little look to Skeeter as she walks away.
Man, that Michelle, nobody gets after it harder than she does.
Michelle, when you get after the torso in the tree really hard, you notice that there is sound coming from it. You hear, "Hello, my baby. Hello, my honey. Hello, my ragtime gal." And it just kind of keeps going through the whole show tune. And then it kind of shifts and starts telling like jokes and stuff. And like you can hear like the voice, but like, you know what they say? Any landing you can walk away from. And then like the working Joes are just standing there underneath it, and it's just tough crowd. And you see as you get closer, like all of the sort of synthetic goop is dripping down from the torso. You see an otherwise intact, no arms, no legs, but the torso and the head of what appears to be an android entertainer. Very beautifully cropped pompadour-like haircut. Its face is partially peeling off, but they seem to be in great spirits. And as you get closer, you hear, "Well, hello there, lady. You mind giving me a hand? I seem to misplace mine."
Oh, yes. And she kind of snaps her fingers a bit and just sort of is like, "The three of you, what are you doing just standing there? You need to get him out of the tree." And so she's trying to like command them.
Roll command. Yeah.
I have nothing in command, but I'm going to keep trying because it worked last time.
Did so well last
We
time.
believe in you.
No.
Push that stuff.
Just to push away.
I am going to, because of our generous audience, I'm going to drop my stress by 1 and then push.
Here we go. She's cheating already. Okay.
1 success, and
That's
I
enough.
did get a face hugger, but kept it together.
Okay, so you do see that they don't in fact climb up, but 2 of them walk over to either side of these trees and just start pulling them down. And then the third one grabs the torso of the android, and then the other 2 let go and they snap back. "Oh, well, thank you very much. You've all been a fabulous audience." And then it just kind of continues like babbling here and there, and then occasionally shifts back and starts singing, and you can tell it's glitching a little bit, but I mean, there's probably spare parts back at the base.
Yes, we are going back to the flatbed where everyone was supposed to be sitting and waiting. And back we
You
go.
want to hear a joke?
Sure. Yes, I would.
How do
That would be
trees
lovely.
access an Apollo mainframe?
I do not know. Why don't you tell me?
The scooter from the distance yells out,
Through the roof.
"That's even better. I was going to say they just log in."
I like yours too.
Oh shit! You hit the mother load, Michelle. This is a good one.
I kind of hated that thing at first, but it's growing on me.
Well, if we are going to be here for a period of time, having some type of entertainment would definitely keep everyone's spirits up. And so she's churning into kind of that like prevention health kind of a thing, and is like, well, sometimes we may groan at the jokes, but I suppose this will probably be good for morale. good for morale.
Yes, I believe that morale is good. Jokes, entertainment are good. As he
Yes.
he smile. He tries to smile.
Hey, you know what'll help you with that? Some bourbon.
Yes.
I'll see if I can get. We're probably going to leave before too long because it's starting to feel weird. I'm gonna see if I can find a little bit of mining equipment. Maybe. Don't know how much time we got before we need to go.
Well, you can roll an observation test if you like to see basically quality of salvage is effectively what it's going to be.
Yeah, like I know what the good stuff is.
I think
Say.
so. That makes sense.
I'll roll a whopping 1 success. I may already be sampling the bourbon myself.
Did you
Go ahead there, Jack.
did you find any of Toffler's loose leaves?
Those aren't words that make sense.
Tobacco.
I found these baggies. I reckon there's some good loose leaf in there.
Fair enough. I would say you also probably find some diamond drill bits as well. Very precise.
Okay, I like it. I like it.
Okay. So we'll say that you're able to get the Working Joes back under control. Michelle, you're able to get this android down from the tree, introduces himself as Rico, and then you will all hop back on either to the flatbed or to this other vehicle, which can drive as well, and you will make your way back. And at this point, having learned a little bit about the hills and things like that, you probably don't really have too much difficulty navigating here and there. We'll say that eventually you all make it back. Jack, you probably get some medical attention in the medical facility, as do the other two human survivors. You bring the broken android over to some of the engineering bays, see what they can do. All of you kind of start splitting up, finding your various residential, your residential mods, where it is you're staying, etc., etc. We'll say the last thing we'll close on this is we'll say it's not nighttime, because the way this moon works is that you have many days of light and many days of dark, and it's just kind of how it works. It's not like on a 24-hour or even close to that. That's proximity to the gas giant, the way in which the binary star is kind of throwing all the rotations around, just makes it so that there is this extensive periods of light and dark. But nonetheless, there's like artificial light and dark within the residential pods to make sure that people are getting a regular schedule. Sometime we'll say that evening, as everyone's finally getting back into their bunks, maybe Scooter and Skeeter, you have a bunk near each other. Whoever else wants to, we can sort that out next time. But the last thing we see is, like, we'll say it's Skeeter, is you're heading kind of down the path from like where the halls where everyone sleeps, and you find yourself in one of like the bath pods, like the restroom areas and such. When you get in there, you notice something, Skeeter. You notice that it's extraordinarily cold in here. That there's like this almost like a frosty mist. It's like someone screwed up the HVAC, and like there's no heat pumping into it. And you also hear like a dripping sound, like a drip, 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 and then it just stops on its own. What do you do?
May I look for that drip? I mean, I imagine there's probably usually some sort of like ducts that the air gets piped through or something, maybe.
So you start tracking the pipes, and you see that everything looks okay. Everything's good there. Everything's like they're like looking for any sign of like a breach, any sign of any kind of pipe burst. So it can happen. Who knows? The Working Joe is everywhere, like where stuff was broke down here and there. And eventually you find your way over towards where the shower stalls are. You check to see if the loop around is good. That's good. Check the next one. That's good. You pull back the curtain on the last of the stalls, and each one of these stalls has like a little bench, like a safety bench within them. And when you open it up, you see the body of a man, butt naked. You can see he is sort of sprawled a bit with his legs extended down to the ground. You can see one arm is kind of looped around some kind of arm railing for safety. And you see that in his chest is an extremely large, gaping hole. And that's where we're going to go ahead and end our first session. And we will pick up on that next time.
Man,
Perfect.
why couldn't somebody else find this shit? I'm not going back, man. I can't go back.
I rolled a 3. Sorry. It was you, buddy. You're 3.
Ah.
Okay. All right. So we're back. Alien first session. I'm so glad Adam was able to catch in halfway through.
Yay.
Too.
Fantastic. We'll pick up in 2 weeks with more Alien. This is going to be alternating every Monday with our Fragged Empire games. So we got a lot of fun space shenanigans on Mondays. So very, very exciting. It's like one of my favorite genres. I love space sci-fi. So much fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it so far. Trying to lay a lot of little things here and there. It's going to be a longer game. We might even have some little mini jumps here and there as you guys do more planetary travel. When I say planetary, I don't mean interplanetary, like you travel to elsewhere on the planet. And we'll dig more into some of the prospecting rules and things like that as well. But with that, let's go ahead and do some closing plugs and we'll get on out of here. Let's start with old Chuck. What are you up to lately? What's going on?
Nothing, just hanging loose, right? No, I got Defenders Cobalt. That's where you can usually find me. Wednesdays, Dungeon Crawl Classics. Fridays, Joe's making a game. As he's wrapping up his high school classes, he's making a game and he's showing that off on Fridays. But then I guess also I might be making a game, and it might be called Teenage Odyssey. And you might want to go check it out because it's based on Into the Odd, and it's about weird shit happening in the 90s and surviving that shit as a teenager in the 90s.
Fantastic. If you're watching this later on YouTube, or if you're listening to this on podcast, check the show notes and everything. You'll find links to Chuck's Kickstarter. And if you are watching this on our channel, you can go and check maybe about 2 weeks ago that we did Chuck ran us through a little run of Teenage Odyssey. You can see how some of us played it, and then over on DOK and on Cannon Otter, all sorts of other actual plays of it. And so you can see how it plays. Let's move on over to our good pal, our good friend, Jeremy. Jeremy, tell us about this Patreon.
Sure, Henry. On Patreon, maps, comics, tokens, good stuff. Check it out.
Fantastic.
I'm not racing you anymore. You do that long build up. I've learned.
I know. I just want to make sure that Aaron Reese gets his due. Maitre, where can we find you on the internet?
When I'm not hanging out with these lovely people in space and everywhere else that I can force myself into, I am on YouTube and I make system agnostic, multi-system content and really centering the dream and play experience. So if you want to check that out, you should check it out.
Perfect. Fantastic. And again, all the links are in the description and such. And if you're watching this right this second on Twitch, check the chat. They're there. And then Adam, what about you, buddy? What's going on with Cannon Otter?
Just want to reboost the signal for Teenage Odyssey. We're 60% of the way there as of right now. And we could definitely use some more people backing it so that we can bring Chuck's dreams to life. Help make his day.
Just
his dreams.
This dream, though, not the other one. Yeah. Some of those are weird.
No, I mean, we get this one.
Feet.
We will get the others. Yeah.
Just feet and potatoes. Like
feet and potatoes.
Yeah.
That sounds right together, but not at all.
It's got the right the right vowel sound.
Better than feet and onions.
Oh God, there they are. Oh God. All right, and then for us, what do we have next? We have a bunch of shit this week. Tomorrow, Steven's running us through Cloud Empress for Mothership. If you're familiar with Mothership, There's a Cloud Emperor setting he got very excited about, and so he's going to run us through, I think, 2-3 sessions of it. So we're going to start that up tomorrow. Then, because I am a glutton for punishment, I'm starting up yet another campaign and another Free League game, as we're finally going to be starting some Simbaroom. So come check that out with the Werewolf crew on Thursday as we are jumping games. Very excited to give that a go. Friday of this week, we will be back to Warhammer 40k Wrath and Glory. Mercifully, Aaron will take the seat and he will run that, and I will just walk around making fun of Melissa's character because she can't jump on trains. And then Saturday, we're in Los Angeles, 1936, doing some Call of Cthulhu investigation, hanging out with the mafia, with the Akone family, going to drug dens and cracking skulls, and a little bit of love at the same time. It's such a weird, fun campaign. And then next Monday we'll be back
with the Eldritch Horror and stay for the meat cute.
There's Eldritch Horror in that game? I totally forgot about that. I forgot how to believe that.
Mouths everywhere. Lots and
There are
lots of
mouths
mouths.
everywhere. Yep.
Oh
Mouths are
my.
fun. All right, we're going to go ahead and let's raid Althaven _ because they're playing steampunk something, it looks like. So let's go ahead and do that. Have a great rest of your night. Thanks for hanging out. If you watch this later, if you listen to this later, we really do appreciate it. Consider subbing to YouTube. Consider following on Twitch, all that kind of good stuff. We'll catch y'all later. Bye-bye.